Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a very early Sunday morning over here. However, not the new all-time earliest morning of all time, although that's too redundant anyways, but I would like to wish you the best of the best before we get into this analysis. If I can even speak today, we'll see, but I did get a good night's sleep, so hopefully this is going to flow out like shit from ass. So with that said, let's go over here on the Krown chain application and check and take a look at the open interest, of which we saw yesterday come back about 100 million, as Bitcoin price action did bounce from the area that we spoke about up to the area that we spoke about as well. So I want to be following up on that whole interplay on the short-term time frames, as it is going to govern the next sort of set of biases on the medium-term time frames. So it all kind of gets connected with each other, I suppose. Anyways, more importantly, or well, I don't know about more importantly, but also of interest, we do see that the fear and greed index ticking down 2 points from 78 to 76, and the Bitcoin dominance pretty much staying steady right around 59.5% from yesterday to today as well. Do you want to take a look at the weekly, as it's going to be closing, of course? And with that said, let's get into the actual price action analysis charts. Oh, and before I do that, I should also say, for anyone who is interested in any of the programs that we offer here, just wait a week, because it'll actually be my birthday, and we'll do a sale for then. So save yourself a few bucks. Anyways, looking at the do we want to start off on the 4 hour? Yeah, let's start off on the 4 hour. Why the fuck not? All right, so overall, let's go to the chart that we were on yesterday. Yeah, there we go. Overall, we were looking for a bounce off this level yesterday, 11,400, which we did get, and we did get it up to the area that we were looking at, right in the top side of this blue box right here, pretty much towards, actually looks like Mexico basically got 11,700, just underneath 11,693, spot 16. Sorry, this is not Mexico. This is GDAX. And more importantly with that, Bitcoin selling off it on the first pass, as you'd expect. So what happens now, might you ask? Well, I don't have a fucking crystal ball, but a little bit of trading acumen is all you need anyways. You don't need to know what's going to happen next. More importantly, we do have potentially our next lower high on the 4 hour total time frame right here. And with the very low term time frames looking like they do want to reject, it does look like Bitcoin will come back down and test somewhere back around 11,500-ish region, maybe even all the way back down to 11.4. Here's the key critical thing that I would like to get out on a video like this today. And that is, if Bitcoin does close on a new low on a 4 hour here, which would be anywhere below about 11,450, could also use the bottom side of this area right here as well at 11, well, it's basically the same, 11,430. Then I would be looking for an extension all the way down to 11,200 in line with the 200 simple and 200 exponential average on the 4 hour. So it's absolutely critical that if Bitcoin does come back down here, that it does try to put in another bounce. Otherwise, we will have a downtrend in the 4 hour, and that would very likely produce the same thing over here. Getting another bounce within this region at 11,200, playing off this region right here perhaps at 11.4, the one that we currently bouncing off, and then I'd be looking for Bitcoin to fulfill the move all the way down to the long-term time frame range at 11,000 bucks. Now, with that said, does that mean that that's guaranteed to happen? No, fuck no, of course. And more importantly, that's why I trade range to range rather than crystal ball to crystal ball. And in this case right here, we have a very easy way to be denoting continuation. And you can also make a very good case that Bitcoin very likely does not make a new low right here, and instead does try to power through. And that is because we don't see, if we were expecting this to continue downwards, like actually continue the trend of the downside on these time frames, which are very low time frames to begin with, then we'd expect to see some sort of hidden hidden bearish divergence on these oscillators, and we actually don't see that right here. Bitcoin making a clear higher high on RSI right here in line with the last prior high. This one right here obviously much lower, and if we'd have to go all the way down to, I believe, the 1 hour before we actually do have that hidden bearish divergence in play, which we do certainly have right here. And that's very likely going to pull Bitcoin back into this region right here, but that does not imply that we're actually going to break below yesterday's low. That's the key critical thing. If that were to happen, however, then I would essentially, well, I'd be looking for what we just spoke about right there. But of course, at the end of the day, I need to once again reiterate the purpose of this channel is for traders, and you have to understand that, well, there's and if anything can happen, then you better have a plan for what happens if the other side of the trade does get initiated, and that would be it for myself. Anyways, looking at the medium term time frames, or actually, we should go check out the 2 hours as well. Is there any sort of hidden bearish divergence here? No, but just barely, just by a fucking ball sack here. Looking at a 3 hour, definitely not there as well. So it would appear like very short term down, and then I'd be looking for Bitcoin to try to bounce again off this region right here. And if Bitcoin can take out this last closing high on any one of these relevant time frames, we could probably even use a 2 hour, good old bi-hourly at about 11,680. I'm curious what the hourly would show. 11,680. Yep, same area. And 4 hours should show 11,680. And any sort of a closure above there, or even just a wick higher than what we saw on yesterday night's rally, or I guess it was night for myself over here in Finland, above 11,693.16, just a tick above, and I'd be looking for extension all the way back up here towards 11.9, we'll call it, give or take a few bucks. Now that would also be borne about by the 12-hour putting in and confirming a higher low right here, and also initiating hidden bullish divergence at the same time. And in fact, we have a very good case here for hidden bullish divergence, as there are the lovely, the ever so elusive 3 stabs down. And if you are a wedge boy, which I'm not really a huge one myself, but I do actually quite like, I like patterns a lot more in RSI than I do like on price action. I pretty much only care about triangles on price action. We actually do have a falling channel right here, which typically does break out to the upside. Statistically speaking, it's going to break out to the upside more often than not. So as with anything with technical analysis, that is within the cards, and very likely would initiate a move all the way back up here. And looking at the 12-hour RSI, this is 12-hour. This would essentially just be a bullish reset right here, coming all the way back down from the bullish control zone to test the bearish control zone. Assuming that it rejects and gets continuation to the upside, then yes, we not only have 3 stabs of hidden bullish divergence between this point, and this point, and this point, for perspective here, that was this low in this consolidation, that was this low in this consolidation, and once again right here, all higher lows, very likely does propel a move back up towards 11,900, give or take a few bucks, something like that, back in this region right here, maybe even as high as this blue box territory, of which I'd actually like to flip a little bit to the downside on this time frame. I do think that you could be more aggressive to the upside. Basically using 11.9 as that pivot point for then targeted move back up towards 12.3-ish, around 12.3, and then kind of play the same range over here. But overall, the higher term time frame ranges are basically one and the same. 11,000 or 11,900, I'd be calling it right here, and then 11,000 pretty much even right here in this nice $100 range. That as long as Bitcoin's also in between those two levels, there's really no change of behavior there. Structure, it does start to break down, of course, below 11.4, as we would actually have lower lows on, of course, not only the 12-hour, but more importantly the daily. But as it seems right now, Bitcoin is bouncing off the 21 exponential moving average, which very likely does get, whether you're bullish or bearish, does get another test back up towards 11,850, 11,900-ish region. The real question to myself is that if we do see that hidden bullish divergence play out, which is not just present on the 12-hour and the 10-hour, by the way, but also on the daily here too, 1, 2, 3 stabs in the same areas essentially. Does Bitcoin take out that 11,900-ish region to the upside? If that happens, then well, the trend is your friend, my friends, and I'd at the very least be looking for a move back up to 12.3 and probably beyond at that point, in line with the world markets, which are rallying to the goddamn moon and beyond right now, and continue to do so. So overall, depending upon how Bitcoin does close today, assuming that it, if it can get even just a little bit of continuation above yesterday's high, that should probably be good for initiating a move sometime this week back up towards 11.9 region. And then the real question is, does Bitcoin actually take it out or not? That's the key message that I probably have today. And do want to follow up on the daily Joule sell signal on the daily Joule sell signal on Bitcoin, as it did actually get an aggressive turn down right there in line with price action. This was calling not the ultimate high right here, but telling you to sell at about 11,950. That has already played out for how much tuna, just under 6% move right there. So a decent move, but technically speaking, you typically do look for more on that. And that's why I do believe that if Bitcoin does take out even yesterday's closing low, I don't even think that on a daily it would be 11,400 that would matter. Just any sort of a daily closure below, let's call it 11.5. What's the open of yesterday? 11,550. I'd be targeting a move all the way back down to the 55 exponential moving average right here. Play out that Joule sell signal a little bit more aggressively, which is a lot more in play on the 12-hour. Although the 12-hour, you can very easily make an argument that this one's already played out. In fact, this one's in a bounce area here as well. So I am more, I'm certainly leaning much more towards another test towards 11,900 before anything else, and then the game's on once again, so to speak. Now, while we are here on the medium-term timeframes like the 10-hour and 12-hour, let's look at what the reverse Stochastic indicator cross says, and let's start off with the 10-hour first. And I guess I'll give the secret away because I've been keeping this one mostly for the TA nerd session, but might as well release the Kraken here. as it is rather important. The 10 hour has been taken over, man. And the 10 hour Stokes have been really, 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 really powerful. So overall, I do think that if we even saw the 10 hour Stokes turn back down on the next closure coming in 5 hours and 33 minutes, that probably would actually lead things back down towards 11,400. And well, if we take out yesterday's low, I'd be looking for continuation, another $200 with a small bounce at 11,200 plus, probably continuation all the way to $11,000 base. But as you can see right here, as long as Bitcoin does maintain on a 10-hour closing above 11,550, we will keep these momentum oscillators back up to the upside, which would actually be, well, essentially rejection of the critical zone, and also hidden bullish divergence being potentially initiated upon the way. 1, 2, 3 stabs, typically going to be a nice move there. So overall, that's what I'd be looking at right there. Looking at a 12-hour, let's see if this one's come down. If you remember yesterday and the day prior, this level for crossing 12-hour Stokes back up to the upside was well above 12,000 actually. Now it's come down rather aggressively, just underneath 11,800-ish region. So that's actually a good pivot for the next 12-hour close as well. If Bitcoin can close above it, then extremely likely we'll see that next move up to 11,900 or 12,000, something like that. Very tight margins here, only $200, but overall we'd see the momentum oscillators turn up. Why turn up? Wow. Turnips, I love them. we'd see momentum oscillators turn up, from very nice areas, plus hidden bullish divergence initiated on some rather respectable timeframes for Bitcoin, all at critical levels while maintaining higher lows, while maintaining the overall trend. So that would still keep me in the bullish camp, I suppose. But again, I want to be on record as saying, like, I'm gonna be, whenever the market tops out or bottoms out, I'm always gonna be on the other side of that every fucking time. You will notice that every fucking time the market is making an actual low, I will actually be bearish at that point. Every time that the market's making an actual high, I will always be bullish at that point. That's by design. It's quite literally for a reason. The reason is because trends tend to continue, and more often than not, we've seen trends go on for, in traditional markets, sometimes decades. So I'm very hesitant to fade things that are not confirmed just yet. That means that I don't necessarily, for example, in 2017, when Bitcoin topped out at 20,000, I did not sell at 20,000. In fact, I was bullish here. Well, I was kind of looking at this a little bit crazy, but technically speaking, as a trader, I was bullish there, if I'm just giving my trading opinion. And it wasn't until Bitcoin put in this high right here where I actually got very bearish and actually sold pretty much most of my things, except for my trading, except for what I have trading. So same thing over here as well. And same thing at 3,100 last year too. I was bearish right here. I was bullish right at 4,000, and I had actually documented all of those trades during that time for like the next year or so. Anyways, let's see. Okay, let's go back down to a daily. And yes, that quite literally is an uptrend as it is, but again, could come under pressure here if those conditions are met. If that happens, I'm happy to look for moves down to 11,000. And 11,000 has a specific interpretation here too, because if $11,000, well, first off, I would very much be looking for, at the very least, a medium time frame bounce off of 11,000, a very tradable bounce, very likely. Of course, this is not financial advice. Non-financial advice is very far from financial advice, but yep, that's what I'd be thinking there. But overall, just by coming down to 11,000 again, I probably would be looking for lower overall after that bounce maybe gets back up to 11.4, 11.5, and then sells off again. And if Bitcoin were to break below 11,000, technically speaking, I would be looking for moves back down here towards 9.8 to 9.9 region, with bounce very likely at about 10.5. So with all of that said, the stakes are pretty high here, but we're quite literally right smack dab here in the middle of the range. So it's not really, actually a little bit more closer to the tops of the range, I suppose. So there's not really, any resolution to be had as of right now. And with the weekly close looming overhead, and more importantly, the monthly close coming in 1 week plus 1 day from today, then we should be taking special attention to the higher term timeframes, of which, let's go over here to our secondary chart. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, actually, this is a little bit nasty here. Daily did close below the median 200 band. That's actually not good. Now, I would say this though: the median 200 band does still have a positive slope. So if we close again below it, it will definitely get a negative slope. That would be very nasty and very likely initiate moves down to 11,000. Yes, overall, but for right now, it does still maintain that positive slope. So Bitcoin probably has a day or two here to mount another rally attempt above that level, which is what do you know, just above 11,700, which is kind of in that the short-term time frame pivot to the upside. Anyways, going over here to the weekly, this is what I really want to be looking at. As it is right now, Bitcoin is looking like rejection off the topside Bollinger Band. The topside Bollinger Band, for reference, is just under $12,100. So it is a little bit unlikely that it does close above there today. And if we do close below this level, I actually do think that, actually, no, I'll save that for Monday. I don't want to get too premature here, but overall, this, a topside rejection of the Bollinger Band would typically suggest that the run is going to go into a more long form consolidation sideways and down. So with that said, again, I would like to see the closure on it first, but we'll see. As long as we also have these rising wicks right here, either I really don't like getting bearish off that, especially, we have like a great interplay over here, a very similar situation, in fact, as well. Bitcoin put in an ascending triangle right here in early 2019, breaks it to the upside, starts crawling above the topside Bollinger Bands, does sell off, but all of these wicks are rising to the upside. You don't even see a new weekly low for the whole consolidation here, and then boom, gives another try to the upside, and there's your move all the way from about 5,500 to 14,000, 167% move from top to bottom essentially. And we have the same thing over here as well, a nice ascending triangle. Kind of can do the same thing like this. There you go, boom, just bad triangle, and starts to break out, starts crawling above the topside Bollinger Band. Yes, we do get one rejection, but as long as the wicks are rising, which by the way, last week's wick for reference is 11,120, still okay, I guess. On the longer term timeframes, that's not to really interfere with what we said on the short term timeframes. Obviously, all of these are related to each other in some way, but of course, a weekly is going to have how many hourlies in it? Well, 24 times 7, which I can't do in my brain. I don't know, 144, is that right? Probably not. Probably not. Anyways, so yes, I would be keeping that in mind as well. Can kind of make two points about that. Let's also check out MACD, and I don't see anything too concerning here. The histogram is rising with all these highs, so that is good. But I don't really have anything to make off of that. Let's go over to maybe the daily. I'm curious what the daily MACD says. Very interesting here. Daily MACD is going to have hidden bullish divergence on histogram. As you can see, we do have massively lower lows on histogram, while Bitcoin price action is trying to put in a higher low right here. But today is so fucking critical, and I can even take this a step further now that we have this in play too, bringing all these things together. If Bitcoin can close today's even 12-hour, but preferably daily above the 20 simple, just above 11,700, extremely likely we will see another move back up towards 12,000 essentially. And at that point, I'm very much akin to think that we're probably going to see continuation of the upside. That's just me, but I'd want to see it in real time first and play that out too. But now, of course, we do see the same sort of divergence on RSI, and it's very pronounced. So I do think that it's very much relevant here nonetheless. Looking at a 12-hour, do we see anything of interest as well? We expect to see that same divergence, and we actually don't, which is kind of strange. 12-hour does look a little bit more potentially droopy here too, so I would be it does kind of cause a little bit of concern for caution. But overall, I'm no MACD master. It was something that my mentor actually really did like, but I never really. I always just like looking at exponentials because it kind of you can kind of get around the same sort of information with it. Maybe not the exact same information with it, but overall, you're looking for momentous plays there. Anyways, back here on the 4-hour. Well, what do we have to say about that? I think it's actually time. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, we're about 20 minutes into this. I think it's time to actually go check out the Bitcoin dominance and maybe even the total market cap chart as well. I haven't checked on that in a very long time. But looking at the weekly here, you can see that we're bouncing off of the level that we denoted last week, right around this area right here. You'll notice that these numbers do not match up with the Krown trade application numbers as far as percentages goes, but their relative relationship with each other is more or less the same. So we can kind of document it that way. Anyways, this would still actually look like continuation of the downside on the weekly. On the daily, do we have any divergences being built up here? Yeah, incredibly aggressive divergences. 1, 2, 3 stabs. These last 2, 3 coming in very, 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 very pronounced between this point and this point. So I would be looking for, I'd actually be looking for a move up here. So we probably do see rotations in Bitcoin market and if Bitcoin does go up, we probably don't see altcoins follow as much. Daily Jewel it will line up at some point, but I don't don't think it's there just yet. It'll still take a little bit of time if it is going to do it. But it would be suggesting that we're more likely in an area to bounce, maybe grind it out again to the low side. But overall, I'd be looking for bounces off this region and then come back after we actually have the official close. So that probably aligns with most alts. Well, let's just go check out most alts. In fact, it's a Sunday, so there's nothing to talk about new on traditional markets. Everything that I said yesterday is pretty much my thoughts there. Looking at Link, very much in a bounce territory as well. I believe that we called this one rather well. Got the bounce off of 11,000 all the way back up towards this level right here at not 11,000, but 1,100,000. This one over here, 1,300,000. No, that I was right. Hey, I got the numbers right this time. This one was 110,000. This one 130,000 right here, and I do think that it will see back above 140,000 actually as well. And if you can see a daily close above 140,000 once again, I would be looking for an extension all the way back up here to this pivot point at the 2.618 extension. And if you can take out that area, I'd be looking for new all-time highs. Now, for perspective here as well, let's look at the weekly. The weekly is, well, it's kind of the same thing as Bitcoin, except a lot more of a better chart. It is going to be creating some bearish divergence, but we don't have bearish divergence on a weekly yet, which is usually what I want to see before calling a run over. Even in cryptocurrency land, it would be nice. And in this case right here, rising wicks to the upside, I would be, especially if this thing closes back above like 140, what was that level again exactly? If this thing closes back above even 140,000 Satoshis today, I actually do think that it will make new all-time highs over the next few weeks. Let's look at the monthly too. I'm just curious how it looks here. A little bit of selling there. It's too early to judge it with a week to go. I mean, shit, man. If this sold all the way down to like below 100,000, then yeah, probably top is in for a while. But around here, I'd probably be overall looking for another try higher. Regardless, let's go look at Cardano as well. What you doing, Cardano? What you gonna do? Interesting here too, at a major point, it absolutely needs to get continuation over the next couple months, back above, back up above like 1,500 Satoshis, 1,600 Satoshis, it looks like actually. Just above last month's high, really. And then we can actually have a full-on reversal of this monthly trend, and that would initiate targets all the way up to like 3,000 Satoshis, maybe even 4,000 Satoshis over time. But for right now, this is technically another lower high in the making if it fails, and the weekly does look like a failure. And I would be looking for overall downside here, coming all the way back down to 965 Satoshis. And I believe that we spoke about that a few weeks ago, like somewhere right around here after a small bounce off the 10 simple. And I would be more, looking at that in line with the Bitcoin dominance chart. Yes, I do think that this one comes down. I think that this one puts in a lower high right here, and I think that this is probably probably coming down a lot more over time. Let's go look at Mr. Buterin versus Bitcoin. I'm curious if we see the same thing there as well. We kind of expect most of the altcoin market to be moving together. No, we don't. This one still looks okay. It is working on lower highs as well. But as long as it's closing weeklies, especially above the 200 exponential moving all the way down here, but even above last week's open at 334, or is that 3,340,000 Satoshis, then I'd be looking for this one to try higher as well. Looking at the daily, absolutely needs to bounce in this area. Otherwise, the weekly close will very likely be abysmal and will initiate those next moves to the downside. But for right now, I'd probably be looking for this one to bounce back up towards what is this, 3,460,000-ish region, back into this region right here. I'll just draw it out, I suppose, something like that. Yeah, somewhere in this pocket right here. If it does fail, especially if it goes below, or especially if it closes below this horizontal 3,360,000, I'd look for an overall move all the way back down here, somewhere around the 55 exponential moving average, which is essentially what I'd be looking for Bitcoin as well if it does fail its level. And I imagine that everything's going to more or less move together here on the greater scale of things. Looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, do we see the same sort of thing? This one under pressure. This one a lot more bearish looking. Very likely to come all the way back down to what is this, 500,000 Satoshis, a little bit under 500,000 Satoshis, it looks like. I'm curious actually to look at maybe XRP BTC. Just someone look. This one setting more of a base around the 200 simple. Could make an argument for both cases on it. More importantly, the weekly is doing what? The weekly is still in a downtrend, while the U.S. dollar version actually did reverse that trend last week. But damn, not looking like it wants to follow through on it, though. I'll put it that way. We almost hit our target towards 34 cents. Got front ran at about 32.65. if if it does come back down, I'd be looking for another test back down to a quarter, and I'd actually look at that as an opportunity. This is going to become a very big pivot on the market. This just under a quarter area. If Ripple Me Nipples does come back down below that, I'd be looking for a retest of the lows and very likely new lows on this whole route. On this whole thing right here. But I do think that last week's closure was actually rather significant here. Getting reversal of trend, technically closing on new highs. So I would respect that above all else. However, if this were to happen, well, new lows, baby, new lows. It's called a bull trap. Let's go check out EOS. What's EOS doing? EOS looks like it wants to give another try to the upside as well. I don't know when I did this chart last, probably like a year ago. Yeah, it doesn't even look like it's built for that time frame either. It doesn't even look right. I'd probably be looking for a bounce off this area back up to 350-ish region. 350. So it could, if Bitcoin does move to the upside here, it very likely outpaces alts, and they will lose versus Satoshis. That's in line with the Bitcoin dominance kind of chart that we looked at. And also, if Bitcoin comes down, then very likely we'll see the same interplay with both of them coming down. Is Satoshi and US dollar valuation, which would imply that well, we have something new going on. You might not like it. Okay, what else do you want to check out? Nope, that's all my Forex. That's all my stocks. What else do we have? What else do we have in this massive world of fucking high technology coins that people manipulate for whatever reason because they don't want you to know about it? And it's like, jeez, fucking Christ, whatever. Let's go check out Mr. Buteral versus US dollar. Same chart as Bitcoin. Needs to bounce here, back up towards like 405, 406 region. Looking at the weekly, still got that rising territory right there. If the weekly can close back above 40, what is this area? Yeah, 406, 407 region. I guess it wasn't really 406. It's more like 407. Then I'd be looking for it to retry the prior high over the next couple weeks. For right now, though, technically does have potential higher low in place, but if we close anywhere below, especially 390, that would be looking for another test all the way back down to 366. And this one does look a little bit heavy here, to be fair. And most things versus US dollar are not looking all that strong here. It's really only just a few that look like they want to put in some bounces, which can have great implications across the broad market. Of course, a rising tide does lift all ships, but it is a little bit concerning when you see most things suggest the other side. Although they do have less weight, of course. The leaders still kind of take the pole position. Looking at BNB, again trying for a higher low right here. This one looking a little bit more like a rising triangle. It's a rising triangle, crouching tiger, an ascending triangle right here, and probably does try to put another rally back up towards 22 and 3/4. What about Zcash? This one always looks like shit. So if this one looks like it's going to rally, then that's probably a good sign. And this one came all the way down to the 55. This one really does look like shit, but it does also look like it's going to bounce. Just got beat up more than the other ones. On the weekly though, bad. Still creating lower highs here. I'd probably be looking for this one to come lower over time, back down towards 62 and a quarter. We have a name for this chart, and it is. Fuck! Damn it! Wait. We have a name for this chart, and it is. That's right, boys. Take him away. No? God. Probably sound like Napoleon Dynamite or some shit right now. What about Tron? Tron, what are you doing? Are you creating lower highs too? Yes, you are. Although this one going to try to take out this trend line. If it can close above this trend line, I'd probably be looking for another test back up towards, what is that, 2.7 something like that. Maybe a few more in this. Stellar, what are you doing? No! Fuck! What about Litecoin versus dollar? Fuck! What about, wait for it. I'm running out of shitcoins here. I've ran out of shitcoins, my friends. What about Neo? Neo is certainly going to do it. Actually, it did do it. All right. Hey, fair enough. I'd still be looking for a pullback from this area back down to like 17 and 30 cents, but I would look at that as an opportunity. This one probably gets another try higher. Yeah, this one's looking very good actually. I'd be looking for new highs on this run, and I'd be using this area right here as a pivot, 1730, weekly level, not daily. So nice. So yeah, we see a little bit of a bifurcated market here. Maybe Monero, will you serve me right or serve me wrong? Come on, Monero, do it, baby, fucking do it. No, selling into the weekly close. Jesus. If it can maintain above the 200 simple, maybe yes. But for right now, under pressure. Moving averages are bullish here, though. This, when you see when you see the 55 and the 200 converging each other like this, and then at the last second before they're going to cross in a bearish way, price action shoots above. That's usually actually quite bullish. So. So I would actually not count this one out just yet. Let's look at the daily preps too. Yeah, the daily actually doesn't look bad at all. In fact, I'd be looking for the daily to pop back up towards 95.5. Nice. Finally, Monero coming in line with everyone else. Well, not everyone else, but helping out the Bulaw's case here. All right, Bitcoin, what are you doing, you big old bastard, you? Setting a higher low on the hourly, maybe. Well, I don't know about that. Anyways, I'd still be using the same areas. So we'll go over here to the 4 hour, and I keep on going to my BitMexican chart. It's this chart that I want, and we can actually redraw this now that we have the high of this current rally. So we just barely missed it, by a few bucks there. But that's not important. That's the important part right there. So we can actually even make this area smaller, in line with what basically is a very short-term time frame idea here. But overall, short-term time frame range 11,000, just under 11,700 essentially, 11,670 to the upside. Any sort of a 2 hour or 4 hour delta closure there, and I'd be targeting moves back up towards 11.9 region-ish, give or take about $50, with potential for more if it can close above 11.9, especially on a 12 hour or a daily. I would be looking for extension all the way back up to 12.3. That would be actually quite nice for the Bitcoin Bulaws in this world. But to the downside, I wouldn't mind another test back down here towards 11,450, 11,500-ish region. The key thing is, does Bitcoin break this area right here on any 2 hour or 4 hour delta closure? And I actually do think that it would be appropriate to use the lower timeframes for this, because it's probably going to be a rather quick move if it does happen. And if that were to happen, I'd look for a quick move down towards 11.2, another bounce there with very likely continuation after that bounce plays back up to this level to the $11,000 region. That probably all coincides with the daily closure. So I do imagine that we're going to see a lot of clarity on the situation coming into the closure. More importantly for right now, what we can do is we can look at the expected moves chart to come up with probabilities. Again, using this as our kind of we could denote this as a medium-term time frame range, and we're just closer to the top side of it right now. And I'm going to use 11,700 because it's either a 2 hour or 4 hour closure above this level or a wick above 11,693.16 on GDAX. And then same thing for the downside, medium time frame consequences below 11,450 on a 2 hour or 4 hour delta closure. All right, so let's go on over here and plop in those numbers. One plop a two. Is that Mary Poppins? I don't know. I think it is. I don't know where the fuck that one came from. Okay, let's try that. All right. First thing that actually stands out though, before we get into this one, is that the rings are starting to get a positive slope once again. Okay, looking at the above target probability, obviously it's going to be a lot, a lot higher. We're a lot closer to 11.7 right now than we are to 11.4. So take that with a grain of salt, but showing just under 47% versus 29.7%. So yes, the upside is favored here, and you'll notice from yesterday to today, we've seen the upside probability now take a massive leg up. So it's in the Bulaw's court here to get continuation of the upside. That's essentially what I want to say. Looking at the 12 hour, I imagine that these numbers are going to be similar. Yeah, 46.5% versus 23.22%. And this one also getting a positive slope, and Bally and Pig's mom's about to turn the fuck up. And same with the error correcting MA over here as well. So both of those, another couple of points in the Bulaw's court, I suppose. Do we see the same thing on the daily? No, we see momentum to the downside, waning to the downside on the error correcting moms. And let's also see, let's also just compare, the higher term time frame range. Again, obviously we're very far away from it. But just because it's Sunday and there's not too much else to do, we'll do 11.9 to the upside, and we'll do 11,000 to the downside. Again, both of these having major implications for the long term, of course. And this, obviously going to favor the upside quite a bit more, phenomenally more actually, 31.7% versus 8.5%. Of course, this is again, just for today's daily total closure. And what we can do on top of that is we can look at we can look at the forecast 7 days out, which what I'll actually do here is I want to keep this a little bit more muted. So what I'll do is I'll use the medium term time frame range to judge it this way, and we can come up with some probabilities for that. So looking at this right here, if we're looking 7 days out, the probability of actually being above 14,000 for Bitcoin is just under 47%, which is very interesting because that will start to line up with some macro levels, by the way, which we've covered in prior long-term videos. And by the same token, to the downside, there's a 29 spot 70% probability of reaching all the way down to 95, 25, and 80 cents. So take that with a grain of salt as well. Again, obviously, when you're forecasting this far out, what's the most likely thing to happen? Probably somewhere in between there. Quite a wide range. Probably not all that helpful unless you're trading options, but hey, just a little bit of perspective there, perhaps. And also, if we were to talk a little bit more about the upside, and I guess now because it is the TA nerd session, as we're very deep into this video right now, right? So all the spoon boys are out of this bitch, thank God. Okay, just kidding. They're okay too. It's just, well, this is better. Anyways, looking at the monthly right here. So, we are going to be coming into the monthly close very soon. So about 7 days away, basically another week of trading. By next weekly close, we pretty much should know about where the where the monthly is going to land. Anything above, especially 11,000, anything above 11,000, even 11,500 is very likely going to line up with another try to the upside over time. Does that maybe include somewhere, a test below 11,000 along the way? Could, yes, but overall the biases would very much be set back up for a retest of this sort of wiki territory over here, which was the almost just $13,900 closing high in 2017, retested again in 2019, and so would very likely be a big area to be aware of going onwards and forwards here as well. I'm sure that yes, indeed, if we look at the volume profile, you can notice that it absolutely drops off the face of the fucking earth above that level, like even more so than what we see right here, which is kind of crazy too. So overall, the biases still kind of do favor the upside. Assuming that the monthly does close rather nice, but if Bitcoin does start to falter below the $11,000 region before then, could it be that we are seeing that we might be seeing a big top being put in place? Yes, possible. Absolutely possible, especially when Dixie looks like it wants to put in perhaps a major low here. I do think that it'd still take a couple months for it to grind this area out, but I do think that it will try to put in a big rally off that region. But still, it's like very, very long term that I'm bullish on Dixie, not necessarily like in this next year or two. Or maybe even 3. But looking at this area right here, again, for perspective, monthly Stokes nice and erect to the upside. Monthly RSI has an inverted head and shoulders that would actually imply a move into the bullish control zone, which we can actually look at the levels for that thanks to Bale on this indicator, and it would have to that actually imply close at 13,000, or just above 13,000, and continuation above that. Obviously, trend here is your friend. Low, high, higher, low, closing on new highs. We have higher highs. It's an uptrend. We can extend this one more further as we will be closing the bi-monthly next week as well, or I guess technically in 2 weeks. Next, not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that. And the bi-monthly is very, very interesting here too. Let me just double check. Yeah, it definitely is closing in September 1st. And in any sort of a closure above 10.8 or 10.9, basically 11,000, same thing. Extremely likely we're going to see new highs on this run. Maybe a test back down to 10.5 in the interim. Maybe even all the way back down to to that 9.8 target. But overall, biases would very much be set. We do see the same thing on momentum oscillators. Bi-monthly Stokes headed nice and up. Now, to be fair, this looks like the fucking Ozio de Torre symbol or some shit, because there's just not enough price action history here. But more importantly, bi-monthly RSI would be looking very, very good, in fact. And in order to get it back into the bullish control zone, we just need to close above 11,800. That would also come alongside a move above the exponential, a continued move above the exponential on that, which would imply a move overall higher. And that is well, that's probably where I want to leave this one. So we'll go back to the wrap up here. And I want to give a major shout out to the person who's been to the people, actually, because there's been a couple of them putting together the timestamps for these videos. That's so fucking amazing, man. Thank you so much. I'd love to get back to you in some way. If you could get into contact with me, just email me or something, or can't really do it on Discord because I closed my DMs. I kind of had to. It was just getting a bit too overwhelming, and I was like having trouble coping with my own life and everything. But I'd like to be back in some way. If you are listening right now. So with that said, going and looking at our ranges right here. 11.7 to the upside, 2 hour or 4 hour closure anywhere above 11.670, or even just a tick above 11.693 on GDAX. I'd be targeting moves back up here. By the same token, any sort of a 2 hour or 4 hour closure on new lows, and I'd extend a move down to 11.2, probably a small bounce there with continuation overall to $11,000 low. And that's what I'd be looking at on the medium-term timeframes. High-term timeframe range is still the same, 11,000 to the downside, very likely propelling a move to 9.8 with a stop around 10.5, and to the upside 11.9. Again, the relevant regions would be at 12.3 after that, and then we'd probably just want to come back after that and analyze in real time. But for right now, it is looking like Bitcoin's going to try to pull through here. I wouldn't mind another test back down here. In fact, I actually do think that the very low timeframes lead back down towards like 11.5 or somewhere in this region. But overall, I do think that it gets picked up and tries again to the upside. But again, my opinion is not relevant. My opinion is not needed, and I don't even trade my fucking opinion. So at the end of the day, just waiting for some alarms, waiting for triggers to get hit, and that's where I'd like to leave you right now. I would also like to wish you the best, and the happiest. Take care, and until next time.